And welcome to Sex Education. And my name is Chimose Henry Ahonaya, and I have with me our host for Curie Talk, which is Marvelous.
Yo. How you guys doing? I'm feeling excited. This is what you are doing. No door. First episode that you are doing like this. This is not Q talk. Oh. This is sex education. Don't do yourself. So I'm in
Please,
the building,
I'm,
guys.
I'm not only myself. I'm only trying to make sure. That our broadcast is actually live on Facebook and YouTube because I have to check it myself to make sure that people can actually see us. The last thing we want is to run a broadcast and then assume that people are seeing us, and then at the end of the whole day, it is just it's just in the studio. That's the last thing we
Okay,
want.
serious.
Yeah. So
Okay, serious.
I'm not
Okay.
sure. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to go to our YouTube channel to see that people can see us, and then we'll kick off. So sorry for the interruption for those who are watching live and those who will be watching live later. I can see, okay, yes, we should be live on our YouTube channel. So welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And my name is Chimose Henry, and we have a new show. Hey, my dear, sex education. You know, you guys have been asking about sex education. You guys called for it, and now we're giving it to you bumper to bumper. So before we dive in today, we also have someone Opemi in the studio, but he's going to be coming up later, and we're all going to be welcoming Opemi to this show. So let's dive into today's marvelous. So today we're talking about puberty. What can you tell us? How was your experience growing up and coming to puberty? What was puberty for? Was like for you rather?
Okay, I feel like for me, puberty came very late. Came really late. I know it was like 17 before I started experiencing any changes. No, when you are with classmates, first I started in school. When I was in
Mm-hmm.
school, now people will say, "Oh my God, I'm going here in my private part. Oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm seeing something that is like watching, looks like you got that's coming out of me." Sometimes, like whenever I sleep and I have wet dreams, I was just like, ah, I'm not seeing any of these things. I'm not having any of these signs. I know the first day that happened to me that I saw were dreams. I was it was almost like I should pop champagne and jubilate because I felt like when people are saying it, it looked abnormal to me. It looked like I wasn't feeling it, but I was just happy experiencing it, and it comes late. That's one thing I noticed about puberty, that it comes in different stages or different times for different people. But one thing I hated about puberty that came with puberty was the hair. When the hair was coming, not at first now, you would say, oh, when it comes now, it's easy. You just, I'm doing fine boy, I'm doing big boy.
Wait,
It's
wait,
easy
wait.
now at
When
first.
you say the hair, which part of the hair so that I know which hair?
All the
Are you
all
talking
the
about
hair,
the
oh, all
beard? Are
the
you
hair,
talking
both the one private and the one public, all the all the hair, all the hair. I think the most the worst thing that comes with puberty is just the
yeah.
sex drive. The sex drive is the worst. You that before that you can stay, you don't even know what you are innocent. All of a sudden, you're somebody that is looking how to knock 4 5 times in a week, to knock every day. Now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday. So that was like a puberty experience for me, and that's just it for me. So talk about your own. What's
For me,
what's puberty like for you?
puberty came early for me. Puberty came when I was 10 years old. Yes, puberty came for me. And the one thing I hated about my own stage was that when puberty came, then my siblings were growing up together with me. So I have like two brothers. I have two brothers and one sister, right? So my siblings were growing up at the same time with me. And hello, Collins, we see your comments. So my siblings were growing up with me. And then my younger brother was like, Mommy, brother, is they have hair in the armpit?
I mean,
Sorry, Marvelous just went out. So I was like, Kilode, why are you people calling me now? Why are you trying to humiliate me? And then we are talking about puberty. That's our topic about today. We are sharing our puberty experience, what came with puberty, and how we handle it, or how you should handle your puberty. Thank you for Collins for typing in. So everybody that's watching the stream, please comment, share your own experience as we share ours on this live stream. So marvelous. So my mom was like, come into the room. Easy, come and show us the hair. So I came into the room, and then my mom made me to raise up my arms. Then my mom stood there, and then my brothers were laughing. I was like, what the hell is this? Why did you people call me to humiliate me? What did I do? Then they were laughing at my life. Then after the whole laugh, then my mom is like, okay, your father needs to teach you how to shave. I was like, my mother would be like, come, let me see. I was like, can't say anything. So after then, I noticed for me personally, like my nipples were very strong. Jesus, my nipples were very strong, and then they used to bring out water. Then I don't know if anybody had that experience of having a hard nipples.
Wait, were you?
I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person that had
water. Wait, what color? What color was this water? I'm just being curious.
It was kind of milky white.
Okay, I can't relate. Just you can move on. Don't move on.
So my nipples were very, very hard, as in strong. Then the water was like dripping. So as the water was dripping, then it was like the most sensitive part of my whole body. Like it wasn't even like the jerking off or the pre-cum or the cum that really, really, really aroused me, but my nipples were like my secret weapon. And after the whole nipple things, then I began to have like wet dreams. After the wet dreams, then the erection and everything started. So that's my experience about puberty.
The funny thing, I know that we're not even going to talk about. No, the next episode is our first time sex, so we are going to talk about that in the next episode. But I just feel like puberty.
We can always talk about like our first time sex and puberty too together. It doesn't matter.
I know the next episode, because that one is something very, very important. The mistakes I made, the drama of the first. Yeah, that one is enough for an entire day. The first sets of sex that we had, how complicated it was. That one is a different topic, but just in bringing it in, because puberty, I feel like it's really, really hard these days. But no, I think it's easier. It's easier in a kind of way, but also hard because it depends on the kind of parents that you are in with. Because one thing is that when I was going through puberty, there was nobody I could tell all these things. Now even your own, I think yours is better because you talk to your mom. There was nobody, so I would keep everything. Yeah, so I would keep everything. I would hide everything. It was just between me and friends. And friends would give you some terrible, stupid advice. I know even growing up here. That time I was growing here, when they came and it was coming one, and they said, no, for you to come very well, for you to be nice now, you can be nice. Go and carry spirit, apply spirit. Apply spirit, it will be much. So when it's much, and when it's much, it will attract her. It can attract a lady. And you know what? I remember one of the crazy things that time was the fact that every time we know when the hair was coming out, when we now come to the assembly, there no secondary school students who will now pull our trousers down a little to flash the girls the hair.
What?
To flash them. So to flash them
at all. Relate to that. Really?
No, you flash and the assembly that time was a public school. I don't want to mention the name of public school, but when you go there, will not flash them the hair. Like, oh my god, you see, I'm a man now, so I'm man enough for you, baby. It was like a coded sign. The girl said, so I hope you are also. This was secondary school, like growing up, and it just so I look at a lot of people. Some people will make a lot of mistakes, and so some people have asked some questions. I have some questions there with me. No, I'm supposed to represent the audience too. So I want
have some comments. We have some comments. Can I just share the comments?
Okay, please read them.
The comment says, okay, for the stage of puberty was a crazy one for me, especially when the hairs were coming out and the nipples were so big. You see, I thank God I'm not the only person. I was like, yeah, my nipples were big and strong. They were so big and strong. Well, it was something else. I kept wearing clothes. I'm telling you, once those nipples get strong, there is nothing. It's like you just need somebody to constantly suck out. You need somebody to constantly. I swear, I don't know anyhow you could get somebody to suck at that because you need. Have you ever had a hard nipple? If you've ever gone through having a hard nipple, so what I used to do was that I used to take hot water and I used to press the nipple so that it can calm down a bit. So go on, my brothers.
Wahala. So I have a question from someone. Someone told me, he said, okay, two questions actually. One, message me. Demi is the name. I think the name is anonymous, but sent us a mail. He said, I'm 18, but my house is very, very hairy. That is this a sign of puberty, or should I be worried? Like hairy house. The house is very, very hairy. And what can the person do?
I cannot feel a hairy ass is one sign of puberty too, because like everybody has like a different chemistry with their body when puberty comes. Like for it wasn't the hair that first came out, it was those strong nipples, right? So for him it could be the hairy ass, and then later other signs of puberty will come true, because some people, like for my younger brother, when his puberty started, he had pimples. He didn't even have hair, he just had an upblown of pimples.
Yeah, happened to me. Yeah, even me too. The same thing with me. Like there was serious acne and pimples.
Yes, acne and pimples. So everybody has a different chemistry when they're getting to that stage of puberty. So it's up to you. I can't say, okay, the first sign of puberty, but this is what you should look at. As you begin to like observe your body, examine your body, you will know what stage or what symptoms of puberty, relates to your own body.
That's true. So the second question too, the person is saying that this one, his name is Damien. He's saying, I am 14 and I think I'm experiencing puberty and a very high sexual urge. Like every time I just want to keep on having sex and having sex and having sex. Is this a sign of puberty? Oh, and what should I do?
So first, okay. Come again. He's having what and what?
Yes, he said he's having, like, I'm having high sexual urges, and I feel like that first is that a sign of is that a sign of puberty? And it's like it just feels like I feel like having sex again and again and again. What do I do?
First and foremost, that's the first sign of puberty, because puberty is when your sexual organs begin to develop and you begin to mature, right? So the sexual urge comes with puberty, and he wants to have sex often and often. That is a pure sign of puberty. But the best thing you could do at this time, Damien, is it Damien, right?
Yeah, Damien.
The best thing Damien could do at this particular time is please take a cold shower. Even though you're having sexual urge and
does that work? Does that work?
Yes, and you take cold water.
That's also. I beg.
It helps to reduce the sexual urge. For me, when I'm having sexual urges, I just go take a shower. If I take a cold water shower, it helps to calm my nerves, because you know your body. Sometimes you could just jack off, like. Checking out
for a 14-year-old.
For a 14-year-old, you jack off. Because obviously, when I was 14, I jacked off. Like literally, I jacked off every day. We have to be real. You have to do for how to allow your body.
I wanted it to land. So let me just say my own this thing. I was facing this thing too. The funny thing is that when the sexual urges came, I expressed mine late. So I know the urges came before the everything, before the development. I know the urges were like there, but I couldn't feel anything. I would just have fun, and there would be no what's the word? The climax. So it's just like fun till where it just does. And I know people will tell me that, and don't worry, it's a sign of the devil. Just pray to God. Anytime that you have those urges, read your Bible. open Psalms, quote the book of Psalms, quote this, quote that. They were
Father,
giving me
Lord,
also somebody,
remove this
somebody
heart
even,
in the
somebody,
name of
so
Jesus.
remove in the name of Jesus. Somebody even told me that
Father,
she just, because somebody
Father.
even told me that anytime you have the urges, say you know what, just walk around, count 1 to 10, or just. But it was later somebody just told me that please don't kill yourself. See, just try and just like catch a bit of fun and just jerk off until say because like why it was hard for me was the fact that I could not reach climax. So even when I checked, I tell you, I would just get so hard and nothing would happen. Nothing. So first said, don't worry, just get to a point where you feel tired and exhausted. And then when you feel exhausted, rest.
Come back again. Come back. So when you checked,
No,
you could not come.
come, yes. What?
You could not come.
I said coming came at a very, very late stage, like 17.
Wow.
That was when it came. So I told that's what I said, but during that time, the urges came first. So maybe this guy person too might be facing the same thing. And the urges are coming first. Some people will be able to jerk off, fine and good. It's even better for you, it's much more better. It makes your process easier. But people like me that could not get the climax or anything. So it was just like what the person told me, I was just do it when you're exhausted and tired. At a particular point, even if you don't come, you will get tired. You get worn out and be like, oh my God, it's like I've had enough. And then you just step out of it and you say, okay, fine, no, I've had enough, I'm tired now. And you rest. So and I think it really, really worked. It helped me from if not normally I would maybe probably even fall into the wrong hands and start looking for it outside and looking for like a cure somewhere, somebody that could provide me with a cure. Well, I know that there was none, and probably some people would have taken advantage of me. So probably that Damien, if you're watching us, I feel like you should just that we've given you the best. Like to me, I would agree watching me because that's the truth. Just
Take a
somebody to
shower
try and join
and jerk off.
and check off. And don't think that there's any cure for you as for having sex. You are too young to have sex. Even the next till the next 4 years, that's when you can be very, very ripe. Because me, I used to feel like 16 was the right age before because of state laws like Louisiana that treats you 16, you're an adult, and states like Germany. But I see that in
But
this age, you're in this era.
at the end of the whole day, we're still going to have teenagers who are going to have sex. And I feel
Yeah,
like
but at least we can. I just feel like sex is in different stages. At least you can start with what's the word? Oral and what's the word? No, not oral for
I
now.
feel you could
What's
just
the
start off with jacking off.
jerking off? That's what I'm saying. Jerking. That I'm thinking. Sorry,
And
it's not oral.
jacking off,
There's a word jerk off is used. Blue. Is it blue? Blue yourself a bit. Blue self blue. There's a word for
nothing,
it.
nothing,
No, there's a word for it.
whatever you call it, masturbating, whatever you call it, just start simply like that. And
Yeah.
I feel they are a healthy way for you to properly masturbate as a man.
Mhm.
You're getting. I feel that's the first thing the man needs to look into how to have a healthy masturbation because we can say check off. You just check off because some people just pour saliva on their hand and just check off, which is very very irritating, which is very very wrong.
But that is the cheapest way now. That's the
There are
cheapest way.
ways of having. There are ways of checking up.
Please educate us.
The
Okay,
first way
please.
is having a lubrication because you don't want
Mm.
to have a friction around your genitals. You don't want to have. We're going to answer all questions and everybody texting and commenting. We see all the comments. We see all the facts. We're going to comment as long as you're commenting from Facebook or commenting on YouTube. We're going to see them and we're going to answer all your questions when it comes to Q&A section. So back to Damien. So there are healthy ways of jerking off marvelous. The first way is that you don't want to have friction in between your genitals. So you don't want to cause any wear or tears between your penis. So the first thing you need a lube. They are different type of lubes. They are the water-based lube and the oil-based lube. A Vaseline falls under the oil-based lube, and most of baby oil falls under the water-based lube. So for us in Africa that don't really have or we don't want to spend so much money to buy lubricant, you could use baby oil. Baby oil is one good option for checking off. And Vaseline is another good option for checking off so that when you are going back and forth between your genitals, you don't cause a wear or tear, you don't infect your private area because your penis is just a newly developing penis. You need to make sure that you properly take good care of it so that it can grow. Because at the end of the whole day, you don't want to, cause your genitals to erupt. you're getting, and you don't want to start having all this kind of infection on this new developing organ. So it's always good to use lubricants to check off. And again, at that particular age, I'm not going to advise that a 14-year-old should use porn. You have to check off with just your head. It sounds crazy, because if you introduce pornography into your developing brain,
Before you know, you
porn
start getting the urge to
yes,
practice
one
with
has a
someone.
whole lot of disadvantages when it comes at a young stage. So I feel like
Mm,
just having your lube and having your Vaseline and just checking off is the proper way to go for now
mm.
until you become matured.
Wahala. Thank you very much. So we have another question from Ukeke Collins. I think I can see that.
Let's
Could
just
you read
show
that
it.
out?
I
Yeah.
can just show it.
No, just share it.
You can read it
Okay.
out.
Okay. Said I want to. I is it I want this. Okay. I want this question now. I don't mean to deviate from the topic, but it's still in line. My question is about checking off. Does masturbation affect one negatively? For me, okay. I don't know. I think I should go first. For me, I feel like
Okay.
it, it kind of does. It kind of does. Not only it affects you both. First of all, it affects you physically or sexually. If you do it so much, there's a particular time where it affects, whether we like it or not, it affects the sexual cells. Depends on where you are receiving it from. First of all, if you're doing anal, like, first of all, anal, it could be anal masturbation where you're using putting things into your anal private parts. It kind of affects your anal walls if you're doing them like regularly. They weaken your anal walls. Even that's the same thing with having like sex every time. So you have sex regularly. Before you know, your anal walls become weakened. That's from what the little experience I know. And even in masturbation, too, if you do it every time, there's a kind of there's a cell that is in the penis. I can't remember it well, but that's what makes the penis erect. And before you know, they start to what's the word? Is it miss? I'm looking for the right word. Is what they call it, but they don't respond well anymore, and they become weakened. They weaken the cells. And just moving on to if you do something every time, it becomes addictive. So I would not say, okay, I think the right word is, does it affect people negatively? No, it doesn't if you don't do it every time. But when you do it every time, when it becomes like an habit, then it becomes addictive and you can't do without it. And like I say, too much of everything, it's kind of bad. Before you know, you can't think of anything but sex. When you're in the office, you would leave the office and say, "Ah, please, let me just leave this laptop with you. Let me just go and wank myself. Let me just go and blow myself." When you're able,
Self-control.
when you're able
Self-control.
to,
Self-control is a great virtue. So no
because
matter
I
what
know
you're
somebody,
doing, yeah.
let me just say something. I know somebody that when in the cinema watching a movie, this person actually left the movie. He just saw something like a kind of scene. And look at the scene. Now I remember the movie, like Old Guard. Old Guard, you know the scene where the two men, where they, maybe you've not seen the movie, but there's a particular scene where two
Mhm,
guys kiss each other. It's like blockbuster movie. There's a particular
mhm.
scene where two guys kissed each other, and this guy had to go into the bathroom to wank in the middle of the movie. Oh, no self-control, nothing. And so I feel like, so I don't get a stage of somebody that will leave the cinema and go and wank. So please, it's better if you just avoid it. And that's just the thing.
And that's the truth. I don't feel masturbating affects you negatively, other than for those who have a religious belief that says, okay, masturbation is a sin. Other than that, I feel like if you do it in proportion, because at the end of the whole day, you can't have, your body is still going to release those spermatozoa at the end of the whole day, because like it gets to a point where your body is full of spermatozoa, and it has to discharge, so it comes in a place of wet dreams. So if you do masturbate proportionately, masturbate in such a way that you still have your self-control and you still have your decency, you're good, you're fine. But when you begin to become out of control
Sorry, I
anywhere.
wanted to wait, hold on, let me just correct something. Sorry, the person that I called me out. Sorry, your name is Okere Collins, not Okeke. I thought it was Okeke. Okere Collins. Okere Collins, yes, I think I'm correct.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay.
I just had to correct it. Sorry for merging your name.
So,
So
so
go
if it
on.
gets if it gets to the point where you can't control yourself anymore, and then you become a public nuisance, then it really, really affects you. Sometimes you can know when masturbation is affecting you negatively, when you cannot longer fully concentrate. For example, if you're going to school and you can't concentrate on your studies anymore, you can't get focused at work. Everything in your head is all about sex, 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 sex.
Before you know that, you can even start drawing a drink self. You can start drawing a dick, or they will put the Bible in your mouth and be like,
if you
some people
notice
are,
you started losing focus, and your listening span, your attention span is beginning to deteriorate, then you know it has begun to affect you negatively. Yes, it can affect you negatively if all you think about it, all you do is just masturbate day in, day night. And the thing about masturbation is that when you masturbate, the next thing is to either look for food to eat or to sleep.
good, good.
But
Was,
but it is better. It is better to jerk off. It is better to masturbate than leave it there, leave your whole body full with all those spermatozoa, and at the end of the whole day, you just discover that you've not released yourself, and before you know, you just go haywire because there's a time where you've not jerked off for so long, and your body is just gonna be restless, and before you know, you just force yourself on someone. So it's always good. It is good to masturbate. Masturbate at least, even though it's five times every week. Try to masturbate.
well, that's true, sir. That's true. It could be 5 times every week. That's true. Mama, we've run out of time. Imagine. I think we'll start making this show 1 hour because this looks very, very interesting. We've run out of time, but I think we will need to extend this show because we had so many things that were supposed to put in between the show and everything. But just in going, I don't think we can be doing.
Let us just wrap up for the talk, and then we can get to the other things for the show.
Yeah. So the talk, I think I'm done. I don't think there's any other question that somebody asked. So I think we're done for now. We've asked the questions that people asked us. We send the mail. Those are the 2 questions. So maybe you can just give us your final word for anybody that is, because some people are watching us. That is expensive puberty.
For those who will be watching us later and those who are watching us right now is puberty differs for everybody. Your sign is different from all the signs we've been talking about. Your own sign may even be totally different from everything we say today. So just check yourself, check your body, try to understand your body, because like we go to school to study everything, but most people forget to study their own body. So take time to study your own body, take time to see how your body responds to situation. There are so many myths about puberty. I remember one time my mother told me that if you wake up in the morning and you touch a woman, she'll be pregnant. so whenever I woke up, I never touched any woman. I had this idea that if I wake up in the morning and I just touch any girl, she'll just be pregnant. So there are so many myths that comes with developing, and we need to try to use Google. Google is a good virtual assistant to help us to understand how puberty works and how to go. And it's always good to confine with someone who is matured and elderly when it comes to developing. And finally, please, when you're jerking off, jerk up with lubricants so that you don't cause a tear and friction on your genitals. Thank you.
No saliva and soap.
No saliva and soap. No spirit. No alcohol. No hand sanitizer. Please use appropriate thing. Baby Johnson and Johnson baby oil is good. Vaseline is good. What you can even use your lotions. Your lotions are good, but please resist from saliva. And I see a lot of people these days when they want to have sex, they use saliva. Before you know, all the germs in the person's mouth has been put into your body. So it is one fast way of transferring STDs and STIs through saliva glands. We have one final question before we wrap it up for today. This question says, I wank a lot. How do I stop?
That's Miles said, I wank a lot. How do I stop? Okay, 2 minutes ago first.
The only way to stop is by just using your hand and stopping. We can talk about reading, we can talk about doing everything. The whole thing is, see those your 2 hands, just hold them and try to occupy yourself with something else. Chain your hands. I'm not lying though, because I can say listen to music, I can say take a shower, I can say walk around the block, I can say all these things, but at the end of the whole day, if those 2 hands are like I want to do it's just gonna end up doing. So the only way for you stopping is actually stopping your hands from doing it and finding something, because like everybody that wanks has a particular period of time when they go wanking. So you need to know that your time, what comes, what fuels that wanking period. Is it when you're about to go to bed? Is it when you're alone? Is it after a shower? Know the period of time when you wank and then try to occupy yourself with something during that time frame.
And that's the truth, sha. But for me, I would just say to me itself, even when I looked at it, I said I might not be in the best position to give this advice because, to be honest, even me too, I wank. Yes,
A
I'm trying to
lot.
tell people that a lot. It depends on what is a lot. That's the thing. But I know at least every week, like what you said, 5 times, it has to be within like 5 times.
No,
Because one thing about me is that,
it's healthy to
yeah,
wank 5 times a week.
yeah, 5 times a week. So some people this a lot now to some people might be maybe they even do it twice in a day. And I always tell people, I say it's better, to be honest, no matter how much I criticize excessive wanking, but I would tell people it's better if you have excessive wanking than sleeping about. Because many people have, because of their sexual urge, falling into the wrong hands and caught a lot of uncurable diseases. So I always tell people that sometimes it's better, it's not actually worth it. Sometimes it's not actually, to be honest, it's not actually worth it. So I'll tell you, it's better you actually wank and calm yourself than yes, now just 20 minutes or 30 minutes of pleasure, and you will just come down, falling into the wrong hands and going about and selling yourself out cheap. So I always tell people, as much as I'm a sex person, and even though I'm a sex person, I know that a lot of times I've been made to say no to many people and still choose the wanking option. I think this week stroke last week, throughout the entire week, this week, last week, I haven't had like, fun with anybody. I've kept myself like on this D-low level. Some people will not believe because of some nasty things I've been saying about some pictures I've been posting. But those pictures are actually old pictures. Funny enough, people don't know. It was for our promotion, for our show. And people were thinking, oh, this is what you were doing in the weekend. You are having fun. And I'm just laughing like something I did a long time ago. And I'm posting now. So for me, I feel like it's better to wank than falling into the wrong dance. But when you do it a lot to forget, your body starts to misrespond. And before you know yourself, you cannot even control your sexual urge. Any small thing, you just start falling. Because once somebody touches you, you start falling because you have been craving for it for a long time. It is well. Let's not over talk. So
See,
we're supposed to have,
there are a lot of
yeah.
questions, and I feel with wanking there are a lot of questions that come because as you were speaking, I was like, what if I like to wank and I like to wank in group? Because there are so many people who will be like, oh, I like to wank, but I like to check off with someone else. You're getting so there are a lot of things we would love to talk about, but please subscribe to Curio Talks and meet us again next Friday, and we'll talk more about wanking, sex, and how to have a healthy sex life. Thank you. And now, Marvelous,
It's
over to you.
our first sex. We'll talk about that very well. We're supposed to have funny memes, but I'm not sure that we can show those funny memes again because it has to be screen sharing, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
that can work anymore. So what we'll just do is that I think this show said, see 30 minutes looking as if it's so small. Jesus. Don't worry, the more the show progresses, the more we have to add more time. Maybe we can expand the time or we can look for ways to, because we want everything, to want to touch everything broadly. But moving on now, we were supposed to, let's first of all, we're going to rant and do our movie reviews, and finally we'll be done we'll wrap it up by doing giveaways. So our ranting, first of all, we are meant to rant. Let's rant about what is bothering us this week or what bothered you this week in 1 minute, or not over ranting. So we'll rant about what is bothering us this week, like what we saw, what we heard, what we found out that is bothering us this week. Should I go first or should you go first?
Oh, you could go first.
I should go
Go
first.
first. Yeah.
So what is bothering me this week? What is making me angry? The rant I want to rant is about people trying to belittle what you've done, or what you put your time, what you put your effort, what you put your energy, what you put your soul into. I tell people it's not a must you support people. It's not a must you share people's content or supporting will be by force. I always tell people I'm not entitled to it. I always tell people. But one thing I hate is when you try to pull down the little thing I give effort, thing I put my blood, my sweat inside. And one thing you know that one thing I'm ranting about is Curio Talk. I was in a conversation this week with somebody, and that was on Wednesday in a particular group, and they went on like, oh my God, Curio Talk, this and that. What are people even doing? What are you guys doing? because you guys sit down in TV and you guys talk, and they will say you guys are, I think I told you about this too, and they'll say, guys, but I had to rant, it's called this has been. I said, you guys, yeah, British, you guys think that because you talk on YouTube, you are yeah, British, you are this and that. And I find it offensive because I feel like not in any way said that we are celebrities. And for you to call us yeah, British just shows your hatred, and you're projecting your hate to us. These people, they will call us yeah, British, call us all sorts of names.
Wow.
But these same people, but this is the truth now. They say we are yeah, British because we sit down too. But these same people, they cannot do an Instagram live and get 8 people to watch. You cannot do an Instagram live. That's how much you don't even have any content to give. You do a 8 minutes, do Instagram live, nobody will watch. You can't get 8 views. Even Facebook live, you can't get 20 views. But we'll come out here. It's not as if we've not done our GoFundMe, we've not done our fundraiser. We've never asked for funds till now. Very soon we would be, because by there, this takes our time, this takes our data, whether we like it or not. We're providing both entertainment and information for people. But we've not asked for much. The little we're asking for is for you to just support us, for you to show us love, for you to, yes, we are humans. We might say some things that are wrong, we might go wrong, but for you to call us to order, okay, Marvelous and Chimere, you guys said something that is wrong, or you guys said this and this is wrong, you guys should correct it. Anytime we'll do well, praise us too. There are people like Emeka Collins that praise us. There's Okere Collins too that is it Emeka? No, I think it's Emeka Collins. Emeka something. There's a guy called Emeka. I'll check his name again and call his name out. Is it Emeka Chukwu? Yes, God bless you. The guy praises us. People that come in and out praising us, and we are so impressed. We are so happy. That's one thing that drives us. If you know, say, okay, fine, we will not say nothing. Maybe no one give us money. No one give us data. No one, but at least the little support goes a long way, and that's one thing that appeals me. You are a community member. This is a community show, and you go about trying to blacklist this show, blackmail this show, call it also. Even some people are there waiting for the day that the show will pack up and that will just end the show. And it's very, very wrong. Because I tell people that what goes around comes around. No matter how, whether you like them or not, even it's in the Bible, if you're a Christian, Proverbs 26 verse 27 says that whoever did get a pit shall fall into it. It's just the truth. Whatever you chew, and even you verse is Proverbs they say, and if you pour water at the front, you will match what you got. What you sow is what you reap. If you go about bad-mouthing people, just now one day you will be in a position of power to be a CEO, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. A community show, for crying out loud. There are many shows that are homophobic that goes about abusing the community members. You guys will not call it out, but it's just I bet me I'm over rant. The rant is so Chimere, over to you. What are you?
I mean, honestly, the only thing that always gets to me and the only thing that pisses me off is how we say love is love in this community, but our community is turning to a let me say a sex pit. The only thing in our community is more like sex, but at the end of the whole day, we have more to offer. And all of us in Nigeria, all of us in Canada, we can all just mind our business. Kukuma Jare. Everybody focus and do your own thing. But for the fact that someone has dedicated them time, dedicated their own personal money, I mean, look at our live stream and look at the effort. This is not how live streams look like. You guys know what live stream look at. Look at the first live stream. We try to bring in professionalism. We try to bring in quality. We try to bring in information. We try to bring a community that has been drowning up to surface. We are the few people that are raising the voice in the community, but this community itself is the one pushing us down the drain. That is the one thing we need to stop and we need to change. We need to start supporting each other. We need to start supporting our own. We need to start promoting our own, and we need to start being real to ourselves. Because I told Marvelous the last time when we had an episode that the more people that I receive hate for activism from are the people who are part of this LGBTQ community. But at the end of the whole day, when it comes to fighting, speaking, and bringing justice in the community, they are nowhere to be found. But when it comes to the benefits to the sex and to other things, you see them in. It's high time we begin to unite and kick out the hypocrisy in our community. For me, I feel we should support each other, kick out hypocrisy, and continue to live our best life. Because at the end of the whole day, whatever you say about me is just here talk, say. You have your mouth. For me, my happiness does not come from what you say or from what you know. My happiness comes from within.
And that's on period. That's on period. So moving on now, thank you very much for you that you have been with us. Finally, movies. We know we're supposed to do photo man. We are watching it now. Movies that you are watching. movie review. Just in wrapping up, Chimereze, what are you watching? 1 minute each for each of
To
us.
be
What are
honest,
you
on
watching?
Netflix, I've been watching. It's called For Life, but I think it's a movie. It's a TV series about sentence for life, where the black character was sentenced to jail for wrong accusation and drug charges, and he lost everything he had. But right from prison, he was able to get a law degree. That was so inspiring. He was able to change his life. I was able to see what prison looks like. The sad thing about is it For Life? For Life was that I kind of felt like the American system of imprisonment were more the people I saw in those prisons were just people like you and our black people, Latinos, and I felt like, oh, our brothers are really, really in prison. But even though that they have been in this situation, there is still a place for change in any area or any aspect in your life. So it really kind of motivated me to be like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what I'm seeing now, I can always be a better person. The always way to think, the honest way to think is always being a better person. And that's why I watched that movie. That's what I got from it. What about you? What have you been watching, Marvelous?
My dear, I've been watching, for me, I would call this country again one of my best movies. I've seen that movie like 5 times, and I saw it. That was the last movie I saw, God's Own Country. And for me, the reason why I love that movie, I'll just break it down. The movie is a gay movie about two men. Okay, first, it was a gay movie about like a English man, a British man who wears like cattle, who is wearing cattle, sheep, and this thing. So it's like, it just, there was a Romanian guy that was brought to their farm, kind of, when they say boy, this house boy or somebody to help with the farm, to help with the farm products. So because it was Romania now, the other English guy always made fun of, called him gypsy, was always calling him some nasty names and trying to bully him. But the Romanian guy was not concerned. But the man guy that knew about the sheep, the British guy was not so, what's the word? He was misbehaving back and forth. It was not very, what's the word? I'm trying to use the word. It was not so. Now all this stubborn, he was a stubborn child, moving back and forth, moving, just misbehaving. So to cut the long story short, sir, along the line, they started from enemies. They were enemies, but the family, the father and the mother, had to make them watch over, because they were two adults. They had to watch over the sheep. From there, gradually, one thing led to one thing. They became in love. Started like not really dating, but like all this dating kind of thing. They became in love, and I don't want to just give spoilers, but they became in love, and one actually cheated. One cheated, the other one got angry, and the other one left. The Romanian guy, the English guy cheated, the Romanian guy left the farm for the English guy. So the English guy was taking care of the farm, and the Romanian guy knew more about animal husbandry and he was good with it, but the English guy wasn't. So it became tough on him. His father had stroke. It was just like a good love, comedy, romance movie, mixture between. I think people should just watch it. It's just a very interesting movie. The name of the movie is God's Own Country. People should see it. I think it's on Netflix.
God's Own Country.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
That's
It's a very
America.
good
God's
movie.
Own Country is America. So
Yeah, no, I think it's British. It's British. It's British.
But it's British. God's Own Country has always been America. Today has been a fun live stream.
It's been very, very fun. And today, finally wrapping up with our giveaway. So we're going to reward the people that commented on our show. So we're going to reward let me read out their names. Read out the names of people that commented. Send me your DM.
And Mouse, Aaron Mouse. That should be his name. Aaron Mouse.
Yeah, Aaron Mouse, okay, Collins. Send us a DM on Instagram at Q Talk. And we'll send you your recharge card.
Come and take your recharge card you've won for today's live stream. Thank you for being here with us. And I remain Chimereze Henry Ahonaya, and
I remain Achafu Marvelous Kelechi.
Thank you.
Till next week. See you all later.
Bye.
Good night.